What's up? Good morning. This is Justin. This is a morning walk and talk for 426, 2024. Just getting some of the ideas that are rattling around inside the head, outside the head, into a way where they can be, where they can protect or potentially become useful. So, I've been using this to go kind of live stream through morning routine activities. A big one for me is how I wake up in the morning. So, woke up this morning, 5 o'clock. And feeling refreshed. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that for right now. Feeling refreshed, feeling sort of alive. Whoop, let me just see. Actually, I'm very curious if the check. How do I do a mic check here? How do I go actually? Yeah, we'll check it. Well, we'll find out on the back end if the mic's not necessarily working as well as we'd like it to. And so what is it? So yeah, waking up. So just judging, and probably should actually start tagging how I feel during the wake ups in the mornings, right? When we wake up at peace, and we wake up with anxiety, and then what's the source of that anxiety for the morning, right? And then that comes down to having a good number of a decent amount of rest the night before, and then also having some completion, a completion around the day. Now, it's been interesting what I would do in more, I'll call it analog times when we didn't have access to so many more resources, was actually just finish the day and literally put an X on the day. I had what I wanted to accomplish during that day, the big things that we wanted to get done during the day, down on paper, and then it's like the little things that need to actually get done. My family's staying in a hotel, um, and I needed to get the confirmation, right? So it's not a big thing that needed to get done today. It's not a big boulder item that needs to get done, but if it didn't get done, they would. I mean, I guess they could have theoretically solved that problem without me, but it just becomes a little bit more because a little bit more challenging for them to solve that without, right? So it's like the big things that need to get done, and I think it's actually the little things that need to get done for the big people. We'll talk it that way. I think it's like for the important people in our lives, the little things that actually get to get done, and how that starts to roll into waking up energized for the day, and why that's important because morning is my big like creativity time. It's my time to do sort of the best work during the day. And when I lose that, when I wake up with some of the anxiety during the day, right, you just lose a lot of that core creativity sort of work. So if you are joining here, feel free to actually let me just put that on the banner here. There's an example. Use banner to summarize. We'll be back. Please drop a comment if you'd like to join live. Yeah, let's put it there. If you are live, please feel free to drop a comment if you'd like to join on to the session. Into the session live for the morning. So yeah, so then how do you start to put together the to-dos and the things that we're actually we want to get accomplished during the day. So now I'm out walking the puppy. We'll do this for a good 30, 45 minutes. Then we'll head into the office to get in for an 8 o'clock, and then we'll go and start to attack the day. Inside of this, as soon as I get done with the live stream, I'll do check-ins with my two coaches. I'll do my human coach and my health coach, and we'll do an update for them. And also, what I typically used to do in the past was do like a brainstorm, an audio brainstorm of just some of the different ideas and how do we take the ideas rattling around and start molding them into something that's actually useful out there in the world. And so we do that, but this actually serves as that piece right now. And then also, if anybody is listening live, you're more than welcome to join in, and we can do an interview segment. So this section, this work is inspired by what Sparks and Honey does. Sparks and Honey does a daily cultural briefing, or no, actually not even daily anymore. It's a couple of times a week, so I'm a little bit behind on that. But it's a broadcast out to the world. It's interesting. I'll attend maybe one a year, maybe one every 6 months. What it captures my attention, but the thing that it does is right. The model inspires excitement, right? So they have panels of people, and so they do it in a studio, or used to do it, sometimes do it in a studio, but or do it virtually, and it's a decent production, but it's great. I was like, how do you start reducing the how do you start reducing the overhead that goes along with creating as decent as experience as possible? And that's where we came up with the walk and talks, and also to do it in a time for busy people, right? So this is, I am out, I do most of my walk and talks as I'm walking my dog. When I do the weekend walk and talks, those are typically we do the weekend walk and talks. Those are typically with those are typically with what was that, like longer walks without the puppy, like longer form walks without the without the dog. So what do I want to say about that? In addition, but yeah, so how do we get, the name of the game is like, how do we get kind of more accomplished during morning routines and morning activities than we do during some of the regular times. So welcome if you are listening on live. Feel free, if you'd like to come on live, just drop a comment in wherever you are, and we'll add you to the stage. So yeah, so that's the whole purpose, the walk and talks. How do we get stuff done? And I think, barring any of the safety issues, same thing can sort of get accomplished during morning drives. Although I think it's not safe to, I'll put that away. Not safe to, I guess, if you're commuting with somebody else and you're sitting in the passenger seat, right? But how do we start to repurpose that time? That starts to be lost. That time when we might be playing games on our phone, and or that time we might be listening to podcasts or watching videos. Sort of the mindless, the mindless doom scrolling type of work. How do you start replacing that with something productive? And that's how we came up with the walk and talks. As I'm walking my dog, what I would typically do, I would either record notes for myself, which are great, but the second I record something, it's typically outside of the mind. So if it doesn't get shared with anybody else, it typically gets lost in the ether. I've worked many times on building a second brain system, which is like to have this stuff starting being accessible to the future self. But it's also how I best like to get ideas out is to speak them out. So some gets retained in the brain, some, it's all this stuff gets implanted on the subconscious, and it's inside the brain. And then the best way to start to filter it out is through voice, because we can actually kind of outproduce writing, I think, with the voice stuff. So that's how I'm thinking about it. As I beat myself up with like really not being active in creating a documented second brain, the recordings actually can start to serve that purpose. So that is. So these recordings start to serve that purpose. The idea is after a year, I'll have a year of these recordings and start to figure out which insights come out of each one of those different what insights come out of each one of those different items. So what else do we want to go through here today? Yeah. So I talk about Friday energy. So what I have. Or weekend energy on a Friday, right? How do you start to ease into some of the weekend activities? So my original intention was to work from home today, which would have allowed for a nice long afternoon walk. I'm going to be going to the office for a period of time. We'll set a target of, hey, this is the time that I'm actually going to leave. We'll be back. I typically, when I go into the office, because of the commute, not necessarily the office stuff, but because of the commute, I've got to do some sort of decompression when I get home afterwards to re-energize. So I'll do that, and then the nice thing is I've got the whole house to myself for a couple of days. So we'll come back, do some re-energizing activity in the afternoon, and then see if it's just going to be a hangout and watch movies, or potentially go out and do a long walk for a couple of hours this evening. Because one of my favorite things, just go for a walk for 2 hours and then talk through that whole thing, and then potentially see who's around that might want to come on and do an interview. I'd like to start actually doing some of the live interviews, doing walk and talks with another person. Having some of those things scheduled, or having the opportunity to do some serendipitous scheduling with people serendipitous scheduling when people are in the area and they want to actually connect and make something happen that's special. Let's also talk about serendipitous scheduling for a minute here. What is, right, like opportunistically connecting with people at a time that is opportunistically connecting with people at a time that is available available and ready for them. So I think I am starting to hit into the rambling phase of this, which is an opportunity to see if there's anything else that we want to go through, or to actually go through and end the session and move on with the other pieces of the morning routine. So thanks a lot for anybody who's listening. I will keep it open for a few minutes if you want. This is a walk and talk session, morning walk and talk, designed to talk about some of the morning routine stuff, but also opportunity to be able to connect with other people. So if you'd like to come on live today or any other day, just shoot a comment in and I'll send you the link to come on live and we talk about whatever it is that you're talking about earlier this week. We talked to somebody who was helping people get product manager roles and, right, the psychology around that and the specific tactical things that you're doing. Had a conversation last weekend about data science and about data science and kind of the evolving way that data science gets done inside of large corporations. I'm happy to have any conversations about professional wrestling, stand-up comedy, mixed martial arts, or family. Those are my like really hot topics, and obviously ways of working that work for human beings. I don't know if that's obvious, but that's definitely obvious for me. So thanks a lot for joining in. Those of you who came on live, thanks a lot for everybody who's reading this before. Please send any comments, anything that else you'd like to hear about or talk about. So have an amazing day and speak soon.